Hey, good afternoon. I'm Lisa with Lisa Boone Designs. Today we're doing a fun page hop with DIY paint retailers featuring the new paint. As you can see, I have the collection right here, and maybe you can't see them all. Let me see. There we go. So these are all of the new paint colors that DIY Paint just put out. This one is called Electrified. This one is called Flirtatious. This one is called Walk on Water. This one is called Eden. And then this one is Blood Moon. They're all fabulous, all beautiful. I chose Eden today. I actually have a video that I'm working on where I painted a few things with Eden. Well, I guess one thing in my office. I painted with other colors as well. And it came out super, super fun and cool. So the premise of the page hop today is we had to thrift an item and we had to go on and upcycle it, go on our page hop. So it's 30 minutes. The next person after me is Sandra from Midwest Charm. I'm actually unfamiliar with her, so I wanted to make sure that I was on here. I had it up, but of course it disappeared. I want to go ahead and I'm going to tag her. I just started following her. So I want to make sure that you can just click and go to her page. But of course, everything is slow. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tag her in the comments. Midwest Charm. It's acting weird because that's what the Book of Faces does. I put it in the comments. Hopefully you can actually see it. But I went to Salvation Army and Goodwill this morning, and of course I have all kinds of stuff at home, but I wanted to actually go thrifting for an item. So I like these kinds of boxes. These make great gift items. Now, this is something that's been decoupaged on. It's just paper that's been glued onto this box. It's in perfectly good condition. It does need a little bit of work here on the top, like the paper's coming off on these corners. But if you glued that down, if you didn't like this design, you could paint over it. I decided that I'm not going to do this one. I might just fix it and leave it. Decided to go ahead and paint this box. Now, this box is super cool. I love using boxes like this and painting them over because to me, when you're giving a gift, presentation matters. My wrapping papers always coordinate, and I love that. But if you could find something like this that you could paint, you could fill it up with all kinds of goodness. Now, this particular piece stinks. I did put it in the sink with soap and water, but I need to do a little bit of love inside. So what I'm going to do is just paint the front side because honestly, I didn't realize that we only had 30 minutes. I'm used to 45 minutes, and that's usually pushing it for me when we do page hops, or really an hour. But I did want to show you this really quickly. I did this the other day. Let me do it this way. And it was, these are some of the colors on the back, but this is just toilet paper cardboard that I embossed, and I used 3 of the colors. I used Electrified, I used Walk on Water, and Eden, and then I just put gold on it to let the words pop a little bit. And so you could take this and make this a tag, like glue it to a cardstock, and you could just have that tied there. Like, there's so many different ways that you can do this. This would be super fun. You can write a handwritten note on the back, but you could definitely paint paper. I love doing it all the time. This color took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be a different shade, a different tone. I was really pleasantly surprised with the way that it turned out. I'm going to give it away. I painted a cork board. I've done that before, and I have shown it on here years and years ago. I ombre'd some paint on DIY Paint and gold in pinks. I still have it. I love it. But before I get there, I wanted to show you the difference between all of the greens. This is Monet's Garden. I don't know if you can see it well here. This is Mint Chip. This is Aviary. This is Salty Kiss. So you can see it's a very different color. I did a little bit of blending with Aviary on my cork board. The video doesn't do it justice. Like it doesn't look very well blended, but it actually is a real person in real life. And this is Apothecary. So just so you could see how different the colors are. And you see how this one rolls? It's because it hardened inside. But you can always reconstitute DIY paint because there's no sealer in there. So I've wet my brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start painting. I love painting these woven thingamajiggies. I'm going to share this on my private page if I can get it to cooperate. All right. There's like something blocking. All right, I'll have to do it later. And if you don't mind, if you've never followed me, hi, Treasure Simone. Is that how you say your name? If you've never followed me, I would appreciate you following me. I would love that. I'm streaming on my YouTube page as well. So I like using these brushes for textured pieces. And if some of the brown shows through, perfectly okay. My plan is to add some gold and make it really cool looking. These green colors are so popular right now. And, you know, this looked good on its own. It did. It really looked good. And you could have left it like this, and you could have put some gifts in there, put a plant in there. This would make a nice, like a fern or something like that. You could put in there. It would have looked fabulous. And the lady that checked me out today, she's like, "Oh, this is so pretty." And I was like, "I'm getting ready to paint it." And she's like, "Oh, okay, you do you." I was like, "Well, I have to do a Facebook Live, and I have to thrift and upcycle a piece for gift giving." And so she was like, "Oh, okay." She probably thought I was crazy because it looks perfect. And I thought it was okay. I saw a little bit of nicotine on the top. That's why I put it in my sink to give it some love. But it needs a little bit more cleaning on the inside. I will use something that I have for the inside to take some of that smell. But I think once we paint this and seal it, it's going to be perfectly fine. And once I air it out too, because who knows how long it's been in a nasty house, like smelling with all the nicotine. So who knows? Who knows the life of these pieces? So I love thrifting things, and I imagine, like, you know, who had this? Where was this? Obviously, this is not something vintage, but you know, it's still a pretty cool piece, I think. And like I said, these greens are so beautiful. So my plan is to use a little bit of black wax. So we're going to try to speed this up. So I'm just going to paint all around here. I'm not going to touch the top yet. So I'm just going to paint the bottom. Like I said, I'm going to let some of the original brown come through. I just realized. Okay, let me see if I can. There we go. I guess I could just use the one camera. I had it set to 2. Let me see if I can just, because this one is pretty much doing a good job. Let's see. There we go. Take that out. All right. So let me know, which is your favorite of the colors? I'm going to paint the hinges. There's a lot of people that get upset over that. With DIY paint, there's no plastic, so it doesn't get gummy, so it really doesn't matter. There's nothing to get upset about. It does not ruin the hinges. They still work great. I paint over hinges all of the time. And then I usually take a baby wipe and distress some of it back so it looks like it had been painted and then, you know, somebody had it for a long time and it got worn out a little bit. I just make up all of these things in my head of the story of what I think it's going to look like and why it's that way. So let me know what color you like. Again, there's electrified, which I think if you were doing like some stamping with the IOD stamps and some leaves, like you could paint the leaves this color and then use that electrified for some highlights. That would be really nice. Eden for sure. I love the Eden. That's definitely my favorite also. And I think it's going to look really good black wax, like I said. But I loved it. And so I have an office at the radio station. And I do all the things. And I wanted to make the office my own, even though I'm never there, hardly ever. But I wanted to make it my own, and so I painted my corkboard with this Eden color. Like, fabulous. Fabulous. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I want to give the hardware. And you can see DIY paint goes over metal. It goes over glass. It goes over anything and everything. I've never had an issue painting with DIY paint. Hands down, my favorite paint ever. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with this. I wish I would have brought my actual heat gun. It's a little bit faster. It said, I don't know how I missed. It was only 30 minutes. I apologize for that. So I'm just going to dry a part of it and we're going to seal it because I have, roughly 15 minutes left. But it goes to show you how quickly you can do a project. Hey, Callie, you can do a project so quickly when you're using DIY paint. It's not a problem at all. I'm gonna push that in. The metals get hot when you are trying to, here. See how it's getting lighter? This is for me, it was like a tricky little color. Like, I just didn't expect it to be what it was. Now, when I painted my corkboard, I did not seal it. So I'm interested to see what it's going to look like sealed. The DIY paint changes from the wet state to the dry state, and then when you seal it. I'm going to be sealing it with wax. So we'll see how it looks. I'm going to use clear wax first and then black wax so that I have a little bit more control. Oh, I forgot to grab something to wipe back with. I only have wipes. Is there anything close by? Alright, so see the top still needs something. I don't know. It's yellow from the nicotine. It goes by fast. Love how fast the paint dries and how many finishes you can achieve with one color. Absolutely. And then when you throw in mixology and blending and like the sky's the limit, right? The sky's the limit. I love it. So yeah, it's drying pretty quickly. I love this idea of using a big box like this. Have you guys ever done anything like this where you upcycle a basket or a box and then you use that to fill it with gifts? Now I thought I may not do that. I may actually, since I use this in my office, I might put this in my office. A gift to myself. So we're almost done, almost. Just a few areas. Now something like this, if it has oils or stains and you don't seal it, it's going to come through the paint. Of course, for me, it's perfectly okay because we're going to seal it with the black wax anyway, and if there's something that comes through, it's just going to look good. It's going to look chippy goodness, right? It does not bother me at all. All right. So now that we have that out of the way, that's super loud. Again, I want to show you, this is electrified, and this, with this, I think would be nice highlights on there, and I think it would look really, really, really pretty. All right, so I had my laptop here because I was trying to show it, but I'm going to close it because I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I can barely see it. So I've got DIY clear wax. I had a customer come into the store the other day. She was asking me about the different sealers, and I'm like, hands down, DIY wax. I love it. You know, I love the texture and the feel. Hey, Vintage Dames is in the house. My friend, make sure you follow her because she is awesome. So she's a DIY paint retailer as well. So this is what we're using. Hey, Kathy, tell me, what is your favorite color of the new paints? So see how now I am sealing it with the clear wax. See how easy and simple? I like using these chip brushes. I have them available on my website, as I do all of the paints, the waxes, all of the finishes. Let me just tell you that I was about to put my brush in the can. It's best to, I always take a little thing and just whatever I have. Sometimes it's a screwdriver that I'm grabbing, and I'm just going to not contaminate my wax because it's brand new. So you see the difference? And let me see, like that. So waxed, unwaxed, and see how it changes? It's still gonna change. It's gonna go through a different process. It's a metamorphosis process. As it dries, it's going to get lighter. But we're not going to see that whole process because I'm going to go ahead and normally, if it's furniture, I'm going to do one coat of wax. I'm going to let that dry an hour, 2 hours, overnight, whatever whatever I have time for or how fast I want to go. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Then I'm going to do a second coat of wax, a clear wax. And this is just for furniture because I want it to be extremely, extremely durable. DIY paint is durable on its own because it'll give you like an Adobe style finish because of the clay. I don't know why somebody would be calling me. Like, why is Do Not Disturb not allowing it to work? It's disturbing me. It is insane. It is insane. But anyway, so on furniture, I'm going to do 2 coats of clear wax, and then I will do my white wax, my black wax, or any kind of colored wax. You can make any colored wax using DIY paint. You can use any of the waxes and put a little bit of, hey, Maryla Faye is in the house. She's another awesome DIY paint retailer extraordinaire. I carry her stencils too. They're on my website. She's amazing creative. I'm so glad that all my friends are here. And Callie, she's one of my friends. She's amazing creative as well. So when you come back and add the dark and decrepit, even after and wipe it back, that's a sealer. Like if I would use the crystal clear chandelier. Okay, so I don't mind sealing things like this with liquid patina, which is the crystal clear chandelier, or the dark and decrepit. But if it's furniture, I'm always going to use DIY wax or Big Top on top of it because it's not a durable sealer. Oh, Kathy, she likes electrified? Oh, that's electrified. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I forgot I don't have that one on. So I'm going to, if it's something that's going to be used a lot and banged up, I'll seal it too with the wax but I will never just leave it. Like if it's something I'm putting on my wall or I'm just going to have it sitting there, I don't mind sealing it with liquid patina or dark and decrepit. But if it's, if it's furniture, I'm going to seal it after I do the dark and decrepit or the liquid patina with the decoupaging or whatever, you could do big top and then wax, and that's a really, really good sealed top coat. So now, so if this was furniture, I would do a second coat. It's not furniture. It's not furniture, so it's okay. I'm going to use another brush, and then I'm going to black wax it. But y'all, okay. What do I have? I need something. I don't have a cloth. Let me see if I have a little something to okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to use one of my microfiber cloths. It's, okay, scoot over, baby, scoot over. Okay. All right, so now, doing the clear, oops, I missed a spot. See, and I can see I missed a spot right there. See that? It looks different. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in here. Again, I have these available on my website. They are so good. Okay, I just brushed this really hard. And because I wet the paint with the wax, even though there's no water, you're wetting that paint, it started distressing it. So if you don't want it distressed, don't be heavy-handed like I just was. The DIY paint brushes, the new ones that came out a couple of years ago, or was it last year? I can't remember. I actually like those because they're super, super soft. I like them for waxing. But I usually have one brush for clear wax, one brush for white wax, one brush for black wax, and one brush for brown wax, if you do that. So now, while this is wet, I'm just going to go ahead and hit it. And it's hard for me to see, but I'm going to hit this with the black wax, but not everywhere. Just in some parts. I need to turn this around really quick. Let me just look at it. And it is good to do it in, you know, the places where it looks like maybe it was, like, see, the light is hitting it kind of weird. You can't really tell the effect. But if you do too much, you can rub it in and you can take some away. And that's what's good about using that clear wax first, is that it lets you change it up. So the color that I painted is the new color. It's called Eden. They're available on my website. I've got all the sizes. I painted a corkboard in my office at the radio station. I just haven't been able to sit down and make that video, but I'm gonna try to do that for this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and grungy it up. And wherever I leave it, you know, it's going to give it that like two-tone effect, which is super cool. Now, if you want to go ahead and use black wax straight onto DIY paint, it's not that you can't, it's just that you have no control because DIY paint is going to absorb it. I've done it before, and, you know, you want to go ahead and buff it quickly, like rub it in there. So this is going to give it a cool two-tone effect. So I'm not doing it everywhere, like I said. We're just doing it in some parts. And it's going to look super cool. I'm going to grunge up where the hinges are. And then remove the extra. The good thing about like the black wax and the white wax and the brown wax, it's like a gray tone. It does have like a gray tone. And I didn't expect it to come out that way. I don't know. When I saw the color, it was different. It was completely different than what I thought it was going to look like. So you still see some of that white coming through from the original, right? It's got that, it looks like a faux white wax kind of effect. I think it's going to look super cool. I have 6 minutes. So what I want to do is I'm going to add gold. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to take some of this off. Some of the wax that I got on there. So I like to use, I have this little saucer. This gold pigment. And, all right, I think I will need this. Okay, so this gold pigment with Big Top. Oh, I should have tried opening this. I may have to invest in that color. I think it's fabulous, Callie said. It really is. It really is fabulous. And I showed, so this is the color. Oh, let me not spill this. Oh my goodness, I would be upset. So this is the color that I used. But see how different it is from Monet's Garden and Aviary? It's completely different. You think you like it because it's a grungy? It is. Like, I can't wait to show you my, man, I might not be able to do this. I can't wait to show you my cork board. These things get, I had a new one. Oh, wait. Is it in this bag right here? This is the bag that I took to the office. Yes, do I have it in here? No. I had a brand new Big Top. Let me bang this here. If you put it under hot water, it will come undone. But when you're on a live and you're rushing, this is what happens. I can't get it. So I will have to show you some pictures. I apologize. I'm hurting my hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this. You can't use, don't use the liquid patina. It needs to be a clear. It needs to dry clear. I tried it with liquid patina. It just like kind of whitens the gold a little bit. It's not a true gold, but this will become a true gold. You see I've used this here. I did this Eden color with the gold on my cork board at my office. So I think this is going to go great in my office, you know, just sitting there. I don't know if I'll put a fern, like I said, but how great if you gave this to somebody. You painted this very quickly with DIY paint, sealed it up. I didn't even do 2 coats. Sometimes you don't have to. Like on furniture, of course, I'm going to do 2 coats, but on something small, I'm not. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I wasn't going to paint the top just because it's nasty. But I put it in the sink. I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. This way, you can see the true transformation. Like I said, DIY paint will cover anything and everything and make everything glorious and beautiful. Like I said, I did this. I try not to get paint on myself. I painted this cardboard with all of the colors after I had embossed it, and it turned out so good. So I mean, you can use DIY paint for absolutely any of your projects. If you're doing mixed media, if you're painting over home decor, like I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, you know, because I didn't know what I was going to find at the Goodwill or at Salvation Army, because I don't usually find things that, you know, here locally. I usually go out, but I hadn't been in a while, so I thought, well, I'm going to go in there and see what I can find. I almost picked up a lamp because you can dye fabric with it. I mean, you literally can paint anything and everything that you want. And I hadn't painted with DIY paint in a while just because I've been so busy, and it was so much fun. I told my husband, I'm like, I forgot how much I love to paint with DIY paint and, you know, painting like things and sprucing it up. Like I had so much fun getting my office together, and just a little bit of paint transforms a space like nothing else. So I have 1 minute left. So here we are. It was fine before, but I think now it looks really, really cool, especially because it's going to match my corkboard. What a great way to present a gift. It's all about presentation when you give somebody a gift. You know, the wrapping and all of the things matters as much as the actual gift. So think about grabbing something like this or another type of basket, painting it up, letting it be something that they could use in their house and display as they enjoy the gift that you've given them. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please follow my business